Now that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has come and gone and may go down as one of, if not the best Spider-Man movie of all time, we now shift our sights towards Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, which will be coming next year, and will continue this story in this animated franchise, a film I am so excited for. And when it comes to Beyond the Spider-Verse, a villain that we know will take on a much larger role here is the Spot. He was just briefly touched on in Across the Spider-Verse, really set up in a huge way. I love what we did get to the character. I'm so excited to see how he comes in to play an even bigger role in Beyond the Spider-Verse. But of course, as you know, the Spot, he may be the main villain of this, but he's not going to be the only villain. Just like in Across the Spider-Verse, we got so many cameos of so many different villains. We also know we have, spoiler alert, by the way, for Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, if you haven't seen it yet, but we also have the new Prowler that is going to be, of course, an antagonistic presence in Beyond the Spider-Verse as well. But then there is also Electro. So there is a scoop that was put out a little while ago from a new scooper on the scene called Thwip_T. I'm not completely sure of their reliability, but this was like a month or two before Across the Spider-Verse even came out. They dropped a couple little tidbits about Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse, a couple of which were confirmed with Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Like, for example, the inclusion of Penny Parker, Spider-Ham, and Spider-Man Noir will be returning in Beyond the Spider-Verse. That was set up at the end of Across the Spider-Verse. And another thing that they mentioned is that Electro will be in this movie. Now, Electro, not only does it just make sense to have Electro in the movie just because, I mean, he's a Spider-Man villain, and, like, we get a bunch of cameos. We got a Vulture appearance at the beginning of Across the Spider-Verse, but specifically Electro, because at the end of Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, of course, when we went to Earth 42, there were mentions of a Sinister Six cartel. And I did a whole separate video breaking that down, my theories, and actual references and Easter eggs in the background, which may confirm which villains are going to be members of the Sinister Six cartel. But when it comes to Electro specifically, he is one of those characters that is referenced and is most likely going to be a member of this Sinister Six cartel if it is expanded upon in Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. So Electro being in Beyond the Spider-Verse makes complete and total sense. The setup is there. The scooper, I guess, is kind of reliable, at least based on everything they've said has come true so far. And I think Electro, specifically out of all these Sinister Six characters, is one that's going to look so cool done in action here, because, I mean, you know, as cool as things can look in live action, you just can't get it to the level of it being in animation. Specifically for these Spider-Verse films, it just has to be done in animation. And Electro is one of those characters where it's just going to look so cool, especially with how in this franchise, the animation and the art style is such an important aspect of it. I feel like Electro is going to be a character that really lends itself nicely to that animation style, depending on, of course, the design they end up giving the character. But they could get really wacky and really cool and really scary with a character like Electro, with how insane his electricity can get. So guys, Electro may be coming to Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. I mean, Spider-Man Beyond the Spider-Verse. Time to move on from Across the Spider-Verse now. But Beyond the Spider-Verse is coming next year in March of 2024. I'm so excited to see this, to hopefully see Electro and the rest of the Sinister Six cartel in this film. But for now, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think about this news? These rumors, of course, not confirmed yet, but just rumors and scoops, but looking pretty likely so far. So, guys, thanks so much for watching. Please drop if you enjoyed this video and hit the subscribe button. Thank you to date on everything goes on in the Marvel life.